still need to prove yourself, bro. What are you doing?
I'm still trying to figure out why Skyor let you in the first place.
I can remember.
Why are you looking at this one like that? This one bids you welcome, but perhaps you will come back another time, yes? Yes? No, Bika is not a companion. At least, not yet. Khajiit has come to SKYRIM to start a new life. The companions do not care where this one comes from, or why he comes. They will give Bika a chance. In time, yes? Honor must be earned, and this one has an especially long path to follow. Perhaps that is all you need to know for now, yes? Perhaps fighting is not the only way for this one to help, yes? But Khajiit does not intend to be a housekeeper forever. Equipment will come in time. Khajiit thanks you. Why are you looking at this one like that? Khajiit has lost his golden locket. Very important to him. You will help him look for it, perhaps. The last place this one had it was when he left it by his bed last night. Perhaps he's shivering and these cold SKYRIM nights knocked it to the floor. Bika cannot thank you enough. This one's bed is in the big room with the 8 beds. You will find it by turning right inside and walking to the end.
What?
Hey,
No!
be careful! If the Circle vouches for you, I'm sworn to respect their judgment. But that doesn't mean I like it. What now? Now, if you'll excuse me.
Yes.
Khajiit.
Hey, watch it!
Need something?
Force?
Can I assist? What are you doing that for?
The latest recruit, right? Wait, is that right?
Yes?
Yes? Khajiit understands. Stolen. Kranvangar Cave. Bika saw this cave when he first came to SKYRIM. East of Whiterun City, yes. Full of spiders. This one would go and investigate for himself, but as you can see, Khajiit is not equipped for such a journey. Giant spiders also frighten Bika. Perhaps you will go in Bikai's place? Find the locket, yes? Bika would owe you a great debt. You bring this one great relief. Khajiit will await your return.
Force!
me with questions. I know our history almost as well.
Hello again, friend. Any luck finding this one's locket? You have this one's locket? This is fantastic news. Khajiit can see it, yes? Why are you looking at this one like that? Apologies. Because I was distracted. You have this one's eternal thanks for returning this locket. It is all Bikai has left of his home. Sadly, Bikai has no coin with which to repay your efforts, but if you're ever in need of a traveling companion, this one would be honored to fight at your side. Of course, Khajiit is still in need of equipment. Oh, apologies, I was lost in thought. Is there something you need? Should I resent that remark? Fair enough. I am not here for the singing. Rather, I am interested in the written history about which these bards sing, or the books you see here. You hide your sarcasm about as well as a horker hides its tasks. Perhaps if your intellect was sufficient to recall more than 5 minutes at a time. But I digress. What can I do for you, my benighted friend? My story? It is a long one, perhaps a bit wordy as well. Are you sure you would like to hear it? Very well. I was born in Elsewhere, the youngest and smallest of a litter of 6. Because of my size, my littermates saw me as a target for harassment. My mother cared for me as best she could, in the absence of my father, who was imprisoned as a thief for the entirety of my adolescent life. However, I largely had to fend for myself. But rather than turning to thievery and violence, I turned to the only gift my birth gave me, my mind. While my siblings fell into their Khajiiti customs, I read books, learning of language, culture, history, and magicka from all across Tamriel. Over the years, my siblings visited the insides of jails. I visited the insides of libraries, and my search for knowledge has now led me here. Perhaps you have noticed I do not speak in quite the same tongue as my kinsmen, barring the occasional, frustrating slip-up, of course, yes? Then perhaps you would be more interested to know that I've been studying the use of the dragon tongue, and not without some success, I might add. The vacant look in your eyes tells every book has its merits, if you look at it the right way. Actually, if you have a moment, there is a particular book concerning the Oblivion Crisis that I cannot seem to find here in the college. It is the first in a 4-volume series written for members of the Mythic Dawn. Mythic Dawn Commentaries, Volume 1. Incredibly rare these days. I've been told it is kept upstairs, but I can't seem to find it. If you happen across it during your stay at the college, please bring it here, yes?
You know what I love about the Bard's College? It's not the story. The best thing about the college is the friendships. Good to see you.
Lady Atia says my voice is second only to hers, but she's selling me short.
Fair enough. I've been thinking, you're an adventurer, yes? And perhaps we would explore some It would be wonderful to have a chance to explore their cities for myself. I don't mean to invite myself, of course, but I assure you, I would not hold you back.
The prisoners are in rare form, as usual.
Stranger, a moment of your time if you have it. If you ever run across a Khajiit thief named Gakadar, do this one a favor and bleed her dry, yes? She is an ex-partner of Sarik's. The reason that Sarik sits in this cell, and one way or another, she will die for double-crossing Sarik. As well to you, stranger. May you have better luck with your companions than Sarik. What do you want? It was a simple house robbery. Get in, get the loot, and get out. Gakadar volunteered to keep watch while this one worked inside. It was almost simultaneously that Sarik noticed the guards' torches lighting the night sky outside, and the body of the house owner cut to shreds. Without any time to make an escape, this one was arrested quite easily and charged with murder. Gakadar was nowhere to be found. Gakadar and this one have spent many nights together. She has many things, but a coward is not one of them. And given that the weapon used to cut down the house owner was one of Sarik's daggers, missing for weeks before the job, there can be no mistake. Khajiit is guilty of nothing but theft, but as a result of this betrayal, Sarik sits here and awaits execution for a crime he did not commit. Yes, you see, Sarik would do it himself, but the skeleton key he normally keeps to unlock these jail cells was stolen as well. No doubt it is in Gakadar's possession. Perhaps after you run your blade across her throat, you would be so kind as to retrieve it for Sarik. If you could use it to release Sarik from this cell, he would be most indebted to you. And unlike Gakadar, Sarik's companionship can be trusted. In any case, Khajiit suspects you will find her at her old hideout, east of Windhelm. Traitor's Post. You have heard of it, perhaps? Traitor's Post. Remember.
Is someone there?
Take my advice.
Good. You know you should probably close those doors. Now? Now we leave. Sadiq thanks you, friend. As an escaped murderer, this one's time in the rift is likely over. Whiterun City seems a suitable alternative. This one will probably not be dancing in the streets once he gets there, but if you are ever in need of his services, check the back alleys, yes?
You're that one from the college. Heard about you.
A fellow Nord. A sight we see less and less these days, it seems. I do enjoy new places.
They took it. Everything hurts. Will you now? All right. In this one's current state, she will take what help she can. This spell is not helping. If you have any restoration... spells, they may be more useful. Everything... Makara will survive. Thank you for your assistance. This one was jumped by bandits. Tried to kidnap her, hold her for ransom. This one did not go along willingly, no. She fought. But there were just too many of them. They overpowered this one, beat her into submission. And things went a bit downhill from there. Right about the time Makara told them there was no one to pay the ransom they wanted for her. They stole most of Makara's belongings, beat her within an inch of her life, and left her for dead. You could say their plan did not go well for either party, yes? No. They mentioned a fort that they were going to take this one too. Back to the east. Makara did not hear its name, but they cannot have gone far. But why do you want to know? Did this one say that? Yes, they did. A gem. Not something especially valuable on its own, but it means a great deal to Makara. And so, if you are able to retrieve it, Makara will do her best to compensate you for your efforts. Thank you for your kindness, stranger. Makara is going to head back to Darkwater Crossing for now to recover. If you need to find her, she will be there.
What was that?
Who's there? Stendar's mercy, you aren't one of them. Please, you've got to help me. It's my wife, Viola. I think she's being held in this tower. I'm sorry. Viola, my wife, left the farm on errands and never came back. It's been months, and I've been searching for her since. I heard a rumor that these bandits were ransoming captives, so I managed to sneak past the guards and get this far, but I don't think I can go on. I'm no warrior. Please, can you look for her? One of the guards dropped this key while I hid. I wager it'll come in handy for you. Please hurry.
There's been rumors of Hello there. Although, not to mean that we won't be friends someday, or even today. I'm sorry.
Good to see you.
What are you going to do?
It was a
Can we
pleasure.
start over?
I'm thinking of joining the Legion. I hear they're looking for scouts. Just think. Me. War bard.
Safe journeys.
Wintery. No, wintry. It betrays its wintry master. That's it. Let's see that fool of a Nord top this. Don't. With this poem, I'm embarking on the stairway to perfection. Just 3 more lines, 3 measly steps.
To be honest, I never really liked the sound of my own voice.
Ildi, what year did
These
the
sands are
Aldmeri
cold,
Dominion invade the
but
Empire?
Khajiit feels warmness from your presence. Have I mentioned that Khajiit are not known for their singing voices?
What happened during the
I'm
Red Year?
fairly certain that I have, and you have just forgotten. Although, now that you mention it, there was this eccentric Khajiit who came to the college a few months ago.
Remember,
Orange
being a
fur,
bard
sort
isn't
of
just about
steel
the
gray mane. Name of. What was it? Usodri Joe? Something like that. Strange fellow. We shared a love of the Dwemer, but he really loved the Dwemer, yes? Made me uncomfortable the zeal with which he spoke about him. Cult-like. Had an odd feral sort of look in his eyes too. So, other than a few brief talks, I made it a point to stay away. A bit too out there for me, yes? Books? About the Dwemer, I assume. No, not that I saw. He spent most of his time down in the basement quarters. Left in a hurry though, as I recall. Must have found something down there. You're welcome to take a look around and see what you can find. And, of course, to pass along any books you find to me. For posterity's sake, yes?
A good story is 9 parts truth and 1 part fiction.
Seems like most of these are 9 parts fiction.
Can we really just make things up? It doesn't seem right.
Read carefully. You will see there are ways to stay true to the essence of it, even while making parts up.
It's a fine day for a tune, don't you think?
Good to see you. How are your students coming along?
Bunch of
Be careful.
Thank you.
Come on in.
You.
Just
No,
stoke
please.
the fire.
Hold your
Take a
applause.
seat and get the cold out.
One more song. What say you? Yeah? Oh. Then. Now.
From scrire to squire,
Once was a hero named Ragnar the Red who
mine
came
is a
riding to
pitiful
Whiterun from
existence.
Come by Bellathor's shop at the market. I'm sure we've got something you need.
Come on in. Just stoked the fire. Take a
This
seat
is a
and get the
vocal
cold out.
One of the first songs I ever learned.
Ah, traveler. It is you. Good to see a friendly face here. Apologies that this one could not make it all the way to Solitude. A bit too far yet. What news do you bring?
He told of bold battles in gold he had made. But then he went quiet, did Ragnar the Red, when he met the
No?
shield maiden Matilda.
Well,
who
yes,
said,
but Makara is not interested in dance and drink at the moment. The quiet and the smell of food in here are much more alluring. Not to mention, this one has seen the way the Nords and others out there look at her. She has seen that look before, from the elves in Balmora. Suspicion, disdain, just waiting for this one to give in to her nature and steal something. Perhaps later. But for now, this one will stay here by the fire, rest herself, and think a bit. Your company is enough. So you have. What did you find? Southeast of Windhelm? But Makara traveled through that region. She saw no Dwemer ruins there. This book, did it say what was in these ruins? Tools? You don't mean Kegrenek's tools? Udasi used to tell this one about these tools. Said they were at the center of the Dwemer's disappearance. He also said that they were cursed, and would likely kill any who touched them. Makara hopes Udasi does not intend to find them. There are some things better left lost to the ages, don't you think? Udasi is not after power. He is after understanding, knowledge. The fact that it would make us rich or powerful is incidental to him. The Dwemer are etched into who he is. As much as Makara wishes it were not so, she cannot deny this. But your point is well taken. Thank you. And thank you for your trip to the Bard's College. It is a long distance, and Makara was not yet able to traverse it. Makara has always been a pragmatic cat, but Udasi, he has been interested in the occult ever since his days as a little cub on the streets. In particular, he was very interested in the Dwemer. He was constantly reading books about them growing up. Archaeological studies, cultural motifs, the workings of spiders and spheres and centurions, and above all the theories of how they vanished. This one did not care for any of it, and as it morphed from a hobby into an obsession, it became a point of friction between us. It got in the way of his daily chores, put our livelihood at risk as we got older. At his worst, he would not work, would not eat, would not sleep. All his time went into his reading. Every septum he had went into his obsession. Books, trinkets, Dwemer scrap, anything he could lay his claws on. They were more spats than fights at the beginning. Suggestions for moderation. Recently, though, it got worse. Udasi heard the rumor of a long-lost Dwemer ruin in Skyrim, containing an artifact of untold power and... well, for a time, it transformed him into the image of the Skooma Cat himself. He raved for days on end about it, pored over every book he owned. As the days passed, his fur became more and more bedraggled, the look in his eyes more feral, and his demeanor changed. He became jittery, irritable. This one's suggestions that the rumor was not worth his suffering were met with vague hints and clues he found in his books. Her fears that we would lose what meager income we had were met with his certainty that finding this artifact would pay for the rest of our lives. It angered Makara, brought her to tears a number of times. Eventually, Udasi began talking about traveling to Skyrim to look for this artifact. And that was all Makara could take. She yelled, and could not believe the words coming from her mouth. Neither could Udasi. How will you pay for this foolish trip? How will you protect yourself with no weapons or armor? How could you leave Makara behind, all alone? How heartless, how brainless are you? For a moment, he was hurt. This one remembers the look in his eyes. Sadness, pain, betrayal, and then a growing fire. Rage. It all ended with him wishing this one to oblivion so that he would never have to see her again. And then he was gone. No. And Makara has regretted that every minute of these months he has been gone. But he is out there somewhere. This one can feel it. There is still time. Makara will find him and embrace him, and we will return home together. Is that the name of the Dwemer ruins? It does not sound like a typical dwarven name, but then neither does Gegrenek. You said these ruins are south of Windhelm? Yes, it seems Makara only just arrived in Whiterun, and already she must return to the road. It is a long journey, yes? Udasi is out there, and so this one must go. My friend, you have come this far with Makara, and you have done so much for her. Thank you. Whatever... She will not ask you to join her as she goes to find Gagrenzal, but if you should be so inclined to join her, let us meet up in Windhelm for a drink before embarking. The bartender at Candlehearth Hall makes an excellent moon sugar rum. Until then...
Come on in. We got warm food, warm drinks, and warm beds. I'm a sailor on the north. It's good to spend some time on solid land.
Oh, did you need something?
You know about Talos? He founded the Empire.
Hello again, traveler. If you've come for that drink, Makara will have to disappoint you. The bartenders ran out of her moon sugar stock. The Khajiit caravans haven't been around for a bit, and the spice comes and goes with them. Perhaps another time, yes? Ready? No, likely not. This one's injuries still take her breath away when she steps wrong, but... this needs to be done. If Udasi is in Kagranzel, Makara must find him. You are sure you will join this one on her trip? It may be dangerous. Thank you, traveler. Makara does not know where she would be without you, but she is happy to have you at her side. Come, let's go.
Be on the lookout. The butcher could be around any corner.
Please, a moment. Yes, this one is. Just tired is all. Khajiit's ribs feel like they are cracking in half. Moon's cursed mortal bodies. Yes? No. No. To have come this far, to be this close. Udasi. But this one must rest. She is of no use if she gets herself killed rushing in their herd. Okay, but be careful in there. The Dwemer are known for their ingenious traps. Who knows what you may run across? Makara will wait for you. You just make sure you make it out alive, yes?
Makara? Makara, is that you? I'm so sorry, Makara.
is beautiful, isn't it? The mountains, the snow, the mist. This land, as unforgiving as it is, has a wild beauty about it that is sublime. It could show you majesty the likes of which no one has ever laid eyes upon, or just as easily end you without ever blinking an eye. Skyrim. He is dead, isn't he? Makara can see it in your eyes. Somehow this one knew. When we reached this place, she knew. The dread in her stomach told her Udasi came here, and he never left. How did he die? Was it a quick death, do you think? Not a quick death, then? Oh, Udasi. Is this note his? Broken. Afraid. Makara should have been there for him. If she had just pressed on through her pain, found him sooner, she could have. Thank you. Makara was broken for a time after Udasi left her. He was a fixture in this one's life, and she was a bit lost without him. But eventually, Makara picked herself up, with the hope that any day Udasi would return, his usual toothy smile on his face. Makara, your brother has returned, and he wants to apologize. Oh, Udasi, this one is the one who should apologize. Just never leave again. But the weeks and months passed, and he never came back. And now, this one will never see his smiling face again. Never hear his voice. He is gone. Makara is not sure. There is nothing left for her in Morrowind now, or anywhere else for that matter. And truthfully, this one does not have the means or the will to go back to Morrowind anymore anyway. So, Makara will stay in Skyrim for now. Find a way to keep living. Udasi would want that. Traveler, Makara thanks you with all her heart for the help you have given her, and only wishes she could repay even half of it in kind. Khajiit is going to return to Windhelm for now to recover. She knows she did not show it, but she can handle herself in a fight, so... If you ever require a companion to travel the roads with you, Makara can think of no one else whose side she would rather be at. Warm sands, friend.